Hello, everybody, and welcome to a new podcast here on ArsenalAura. Thank you for tuning in. I hope you're doing well. I hope you're having a great time wherever you are. My name is Michael, and I'm here to talk about Arsenal.
Hello and welcome back, everybody, to a brand new episode of the podcast here on ArsenalAura. I hope you're good, I hope you're well, and thank you so much for tuning in and listening. Today we're going to do a preview of the Fulham game, and we'll touch on a couple of other Arsenal news. In today's episode, we have a guest. He's an Arsenal fan who's been supporting Arsenal for 50 years. And his favorite player is Dennis Bergkamp. There's absolutely no surprise there. We could do with some Dennis Bergkamp, to be honest. His name is Craig, and I'll add his socials in the description of the pod. Hello, Craig. How are you doing today? How are you feeling today, mate?
Hi, Michael. First of all, thanks for letting me do this. I've never done a podcast, so I'll try and do my best for you. But I'm doing well. I've had a nasty chest infection for about a week, and I've obviously gone for doctors. I'm on antibiotics because I've got COPD. It's not as bad as I thought. I've just got an infection in my lower right lung, but with antibiotics and a lot of rest, hopefully I should be on momentum. So so I'm just gonna night off work. I'm gonna chill, do this, and then just have a nice easy night.
Yeah, good to hear that you're taking a good rest. I hope you'll be better soon. But if you're on antibiotics and get a good well-deserved rest, you should be on your feet in a couple of days. So fingers crossed for that. So Craig, the international break is over. We're turning back to the Arsenal, to the Premier League, to the Champions League. Basically, the real football is back. And, to be honest, we're in pretty good shape. I've held all my fingers crossed, but only Calafiori slipped through those, and he's injured for the next couple of weeks. But, we have Miles Lewis-Kelly and an army of left backs basically to choose from. So we're looking pretty good on that front. So I want to start with the Premier League table, right? And I apologize that I'm starting with this, but just for a quick reminder, for a quick refresh, Arsenal are currently sitting in second place. We are 12 points behind Liverpool with 9 games remaining in the league. So I'll start with a topic that might be a little bit annoying, and I don't want to spend too much time on it, but giving Liverpool's recent form, right? They crashed out of the Champions League. They lost the League Cup final. Trent is continuously flirting with Real Madrid, and there's a soap opera there. Maybe we even saw a dip in form of Mo Salah, right? He wasn't good at all in the last couple of games. Do you think there's any chance to close the gap on Liverpool, given the fact we still have to face them at Anfield?
Right, I actually do. I know it probably seems like it's nothing's impossible, but I'm very positive, and I've been saying a lot on Twitter, and until it's mathematically over, there's still a chance. And you're right. We all knew that a Liverpool wobble was going to come, and obviously it's coming now. I know, realistically, we need to probably not drop any. We can't drop many more points, if any at all. But no, we can catch them. It's not over yet. And again, if they lose Salah, or I know he's not in form, but if they lose Salah, or if they get the injuries between now and the end of the season that we've had, it's still possible, and. Yeah, hopefully, it can be done. But I know what people are, all the other fans, what people are thinking. But it could happen still. And I'm, all the time, it's mathematically possible. And let's do it. Yeah. Let's do it.
Yeah, you're right, and I like your optimism. Although, there are two sides to this story, right? Arsenal have to be near perfect in their remaining games, and they need to beat Liverpool at Anfield, right, to make the gap 9 points. And Liverpool have to slip up, and they probably need, I mean, more. They need to lose at least 2 games and draw a couple, or lose 3 games and draw 1. So it's a little bit tight, but they still have some games to play against Everton, and we know the derby. We saw what happened at Everton, so it might be a draw there. They still have to play some weird teams. Of course, nobody's putting any hopes into that other that other team that they need to face. But yeah, I agree with you. There's we still have to take a look at the games, and as Arteta says, take it one by one. But this is Arsenal are playing tomorrow at home, right, in the Premier League. We're playing against Fulham, and we're going to go into the details on the game itself in a couple of minutes. But I want to get your thoughts. Obviously, we are all Arsenal supporters, and we all want the win, right? But if we drew or lose the Fulham game, how affected, like, how would that make you feel given the context of the league table, right? There's a 12 points gap. Are you going to be like really affected, or just saying, listen, there's this 12 points gap. I mean, we drew or we lost, and I'm just looking for champions again. We should also take in consideration that Fulham will go all in this game because they still have a chance to get in some European spots next season. They're currently sitting on 8th point. They're 3 points off Man City, right? It's not a big gap, but in the same time, you do have to take in consideration that Arsenal might be a little cautious, given the Champions League games and our injuries this season. So, what would you think if the result wouldn't be a win?
Well, I'd be disappointed because I never, I'm like any fan. I don't like, I never like it when we don't win. A defeat, obviously, I think would be really. I'd feel awful. And probably my positivity would probably go a little bit more. But even a draw, I don't think a draw doesn't help us. That's the issue. I wouldn't say, like I said, I wouldn't say it's over, but it's still gonna. I'd probably be a little bit more negative than I would be, than I am now. And as every game goes past and we're not winning them, or it's closer for Liverpool. So a win. We need a win. We need to win. And it's probably going to be like that in every game now. But we need a win. And also, Fulham's our bogey team. That worries me.
Yeah, and that takes me to the other point. But you're right, and I think I would be a little bit, very like, I think my mood would be so much affected by the Liverpool game against Everton. So if we draw or lose against Fulham, and then Liverpool against Everton, they draw or lose, I'm gonna be devastated, because I might see that as a missed opportunity, and we had enough missed opportunities for this season. We shouldn't do that again.
Yeah, I was going to say, sorry, I was about to say that we've had times this season where Liverpool have dropped points, and so have we, and we've actually, and that's happened too often. And you're right. So when do they play Everton? Is it tomorrow as well?
When do we play Everton? Tomorrow?
No. When do Liverpool play Everton?
I think they play Everton the day after tomorrow, and then I think then they play Fulham. To be honest, I think
we've got Everton away next after Fulham, haven't we?
Yeah.
Yeah. So obviously we play first. So like I said, if we don't get the win tomorrow, then the next 2 days are going to be horrible, absolutely horrible.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. So you said something about the boogie team, and I wanna go back to the point. So there are some supporters and some voices that are saying, to give you an example, that Newcastle has become some sort of a buggy team for us, right? So we did do well against the top six in the past couple of years, right? So Arteta did set that right, but taking into consideration the fact that the last three meetings between Arsenal and Fulham have ended with 2 draws and 1 loss, and it's been a little over 2 years since we beat them. Do you also consider Fulham to be somewhat of a boogie team for us?
Yeah, I do. Definitely. I remember the New Year's Day defeat. We took the lead. I remember it. Saka scored, and then we just stopped playing. And but yeah, when I don't mean to sound arrogant, and there's certain teams you play and you rock up. Arsenal rock up and you think, 3 points. And I used to think that about Fulham, but now, I'm concerned about tomorrow, because okay, we're at home. Saka's back. Hopefully he plays some part. But again with Newcastle, when I see Fulham now, when I see Newcastle, I do. Whereas it used to be, okay, I'm not saying we're going to lose it, but there's that little bit of doubt. There's a little bit more doubt, and especially they've got Smith Rowe, they've got Alex, and ex-Arsenal players. They're going to raise, but they're going to want to, they're going to want to score. They're going to raise the game. So I am. I do. I'm saying we haven't beaten them in 3 games. So to me, they're becoming a bogey team. I'm not saying they are. They're starting to become that side that we can't beat. And I don't know if it's psychological, but definitely. It's over the last 3 So I've got to take that into consideration.
Yeah, and Craig, I don't know, because obviously Fulham have improved, right? In the past couple of seasons, they took some really good players, and they started playing really good football, right? But I think that Arsenal, they're better. We have what we need to beat them. So the fact that we lost and drew, our last couple of results are not good, and we have to put that straight tomorrow. There's Arteta, left during the interview when he was asked about the chances for the league title. But in order, you need to win all your remaining games. It doesn't matter, because it also creates confidence going into Champions League, right? We don't want to go in the Champions League games with a kind of a sketchy result against Fulham and Everton. Even if we have 1 win out of 2 games, we should go with 2 victories under our belt into the Champions League game. So you did mention the Starboy, right? So the huge news from today's press conference is that Bukayo Saka is back and is in the squad, and that will face Fulham. But that's not a surprise anymore. We already kind of knew that. He's back in training. We knew that he started doing things on the grass and whatever else, but we didn't know, and we still don't know, the level of involvement he'll have. So my personal opinion is that he'll come in as a substitute. There are a couple of factors. Also, he missed the last 19 or 20 games or something like that. But also, I think that bringing him on as a substitute will give the team a boost, right? A lift. It will give the supporters the opportunity to give him a huge roar and a standing ovation when he comes on. And I'm sure that will happen, and it will lift all the energy in the stadium, on the pitch, and so on. So tell us, Craig, if you also believe he'll come on as a sub, who do you think he'll replace? Do you think it's going to be Martinelli? Do you think it's going to be Nwaneri and maybe Trossard that have played the first 50, 60, 70 minutes on the right-hand side?
I would probably say, for me, from what I've seen, just by going by me, I'd say Martinelli, because I've seen a lot of people have a go at him on social media, whatever, and he has dipped in form, but he'd be the one. And maybe I sound a bit biased, but I love Trossard. I mean, when he doesn't play well, okay, I'll never ever dig out our players. When he doesn't play well, okay, if he needs to be dropped, but I just think leave. You can't. Ethan needs to stay. Ethan, no, I'd have him on from the start, whatever, and he's for me he's a regular now, and Leandro. But Martinelli, I think he's the one that would have to be sacrificed because
So you think that if that's the case, then you think Martinelli will play on the right, so you have Nwaneri probably on the left and Merino in the center. Is that correct?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So no start for Nwaneri yet.
Actually, sorry, no. No, sorry.
So I was thinking that maybe we can play Nwaneri on the right, Martinelli on the left, Merino through the middle, and when you have both Saka and Trossard, he already has like this label of being an impact sub, right? And he can come in and change a little bit the game, and he might replace Martinelli, or I don't know if it's still a tight game, he might even come and replace Merino up front, and we're gonna have a front three of Saka, Martinelli and Trossard. We might even do that, I think, in the second round, in the second half. So I think Nwaneri will start on the right and Martinelli on the left. That's my feeling, because now you have the right hand side kind of sorted. Once Saka goes into match fit and everything else, you can change Nwaneri and Saka, and they're both dangerous and they can both provide something.
I was getting confused, but I'd say I'd start Ethan and then obviously if needed, bring Saka on. But for me, Nwaneri is a starter.
Yeah.
I think we start him. I agree with that. That what you're saying is fair to me as well. Yeah, I'd go with that.
Yeah, I think Nwaneri gives you that a little bit of that edge, right? He's recently got it 18, so he has that ability to dribble, to shoot, to cross. He's a little bit unpredictable. He's difficult to read, so I think he gives you that element, and you obviously want him on the pitch, right? And now, you don't have anymore the problem of playing him for 90 minutes, right? You can change him in the 60, 70 something minutes, right?
Yeah.
So I'm expecting Saka's introduction to be in the second half, and I'm expecting that to have a huge impact from all points of view: footballing, mentality, like from a mentality standpoint, energy-wise, stadium, the supporters. I think it's going to be a great moment. Like maybe do a parallel when Thierry Henry came on as a sub for Maran Shamak in the Leeds Cup game.
I remember it.
So, I think something like that. This is how much we miss this player, this boy, because he's still 23, 24, right? So amazing. But that from a first team perspective, and we touched a little bit on the kind of the front three, right? I know, Mikel Arteta and all the players are saying in press conferences and all over that it's, one game at a time territory and stuff. But it's obvious, that for a manager as meticulous and tactical as Arteta, and he's so smart and he plans everything, he'll choose the players in the squad, right, in the first team, with the Champions League game in mind, right? Because we have like 7 days and we're playing 3 games, right? So do you think he'll try to reproduce the very effective relationship between Odegaard, Saka, and White? So, and if you do think he'll try to reproduce that. Do you think White will start, or do you think White will come on in the second half so he can play together with Saka and Odegaard?
The latter. I mean, like I said, those three work really well, but I'd start with Odegaard and bring White on later. Yeah.
So
obviously when Bakayo's more fit, whatever. But whenever Ben White's come on with him, he's done really well. I think he's always done well. He's never let us down. So it's. But yeah, I probably would. I probably would at the moment. Yeah, but then let Bakayo get up to speed and then maybe start him.
Yeah, I totally agree with that. I think Arteta needs to be very careful when he manages minutes between Jurriën Timber and White. They both need to get minutes. They both need to be kept at a high fitness level. They both need to be prepared for the Real Madrid games. So I don't know, if you bring White in, he has to play the full game in order to have that connection with Saka, right? Saka is going to come in around 60, 70 minutes. So you need to have that. Also, I think you might bring in Jurriën Timber. I think he might start Jurriën Timber and replace him in the 50, 60th minute, and he'll bring in White to recreate kind of the connection between those three that was very effective at the beginning of the season when everyone was fit. So regarding the first team, who do you think will be left out of the first team against Fulham? Do you think there'll be many changes, or do you think he'll go with a pretty strong squad and just a couple of minor changes?
Well, I actually someone put up on social media about the team to face Fulham, and it was I think it was the same team that beat Chelsea, and I said I'd go with that because you don't change a winning team. But then we've got Everton, and then we've got the massive game against Madrid. So I reckon he should just tweak, maybe make the odd change. Don't change it dramatically, because I know the Chelsea game, it wasn't pretty, but we got the win, and I suppose just don't change a winning team. Then you've got to take into account, like I said, the other game. So for me, ideally, I'd like to keep the same team, but then again, if he makes one or two changes, fine. But it depends who it is. But yeah, but I would probably go with virtually either the same or virtually the same team.
Yeah. I mean, it's tough, It's tough to be in his shoes, to have to think of the Real Madrid games. You look at our season, how it's been derailed by injuries and stuff like that. So you need to be courageous, but in the same time, you need to be mindful of who am I gonna put in, right? You can't start playing. I don't think you can change the center back partnership. I don't think you can bring in like a Kivior or something like that. I don't think even on the left hand side take out Miles Lewis-Kelly and so on. I don't think that's a good idea. Maybe I would bring in Jorginho, maybe to give a rest to Partey. Rice has to start. Odegaard has to start. If I would replace Odegaard around, 60, 70 minutes, but again, you want that connection with Saka, so it's really difficult. But if I would replace Odegaard, I think I would replace him with Zinchenko maybe, because he had a very good game in midfield against PSV. So yeah, it's a really tough one, and you need to go for a strong side rather than a weaker one against Fulham. Well, again, Fulham, they're 3 points behind City on 5th place, and they will go for a win. I'm pretty sure. I don't think they'll sit up. I think they'll try to win this game.
Yeah.
So hopefully, we'll watch the game. We'll be going back into Arsenal mode for the rest of the season, because obviously this was the last international break, thanks God. In other news, we have the official announcement of Andrea Berta in the sporting director role, and we knew that. We just waited for the confirmation. But what do you think of the timing of the announcement of him as a sporting director? And right after he got announced, that he came at Arsenal, a lot of news starting flow in from some decent sources regarding Victor Gyökeres as a potential number 9 signing. I mean, Craig, I know that Arsenal's PR is pretty good, right? We know that, but don't you think that the timing is a little bit like? Do you think they're trying to give everyone, like the supporters and the fans and maybe the players, do you think the rumor is true, or do you think it's just a PR stuff that is trying to boost everyone up for the final end of the season? Because for me it was weird timing.
About you talking about Berta, the announcement of Berta or Gyökeres?
Yeah, the announcement of Berta, and then straight after we got the news on Gyökeres. Straight after,
Yeah. There may be partly that, but I know from me personally, I was away in France when it got announced, and I was so pleased. I was like, yeah, okay. I didn't know much about him before, but I knew a bit about him, and and his track record in signing players. And yeah, it may well be the club thought, we need to give him some good news, and he's obviously settled in and whatever. And but the Gyökeres thing, I'm probably gonna not upset people, but I'd rather have Šeško. I would rather have Šeško over Gyökeres, only because I know Šeško's young, and I watch a lot of European football. But Gyökeres is playing in Portugal. It's the Portuguese league, and yeah, his stats are great. I'm not arguing with stats, but it's Portuguese league. Šeško's playing in Germany. Okay, I know his stats aren't as good, but I've always liked him. And if we get Gyökeres, okay, I'll go with it. But I would personally go with Šeško. But ultimately, we need a finisher, and he can finish. And he might take to the Premier League like a duck to water. But the whole thing with Berta being announced, and yeah, again the PR, maybe the club are clever. Yeah, let's give him a boost. Let's announce it. And I was on holiday, and I was like, yeah, wow, I was well happy.
Yeah, Craig. I understand. Your point is really well, and there, as in any signing or any potential signing, you have pros and cons and whatever else. And obviously, a lot of supporters and a lot of voices, they say that yeah, he comes from the Portuguese league, but in the same time you have him, like, he's really tall, right? He's 6'2", and he's really strong. He looks really strong, right? And he might be a good fit. We don't know, right? We bought Fabio Vieira, right, from the Portuguese league, and he was he was hot and cold, right? For lack of better words, but. Yeah, I mean, the Šeško links, like, we actually wanted to buy Šeško, right? We went with an offer and everything else, and he decided he's going to stay for one more season. And that's his decision. There's nothing to say to it. So actually the links and our intentions were well known, right? He was our target. Now, Gyökeres, I mean, he's scoring goals for fun, but obviously, in a way less competitive league, sort of, to say the least. But I think the attacking side has to improve. This is priority number one. The striking area needs to improve, whether it's Gyökeres, whether it's Sesko, whether it's hopefully it's going to be second. I know there's a huge amount of money on that, and it's probably not going to happen, but yeah, well, I don't know. I don't know. This is a discussion, and I'm sure after the season is over, although the transfer window opens fairly quickly this year, but I think it's a discussion that can wait. So hopefully Arsenal they will be back and at full speed against Fulham. I would love at least a goal contribution from Saka, just to take it off from where he unfortunately stopped. It's his first major injury, so fingers crossed everything goes well, everything goes as planned, and we get a win, and Liverpool kind of slip up. Although, with the slip-ups, Liverpool, if they slip up once or twice, they're gonna, increase your hopes, and don't know. But this is Arsenal. We're used to being supporters of Arsenal. We're used to the roller coaster that Arsenal is offering us, and we love them for that. But yeah, Craig, thank you so much. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah,
go ahead.
I just want to add, sorry. Yeah, you're right. And but like I said at the start, it's obviously, we do need to try and win. Everyone's saying it. We can't drop points, and whatever if Liverpool do, we capitalise. But like I said, we're playing first. We've just got to think, take Liverpool out of our heads, and let's just get the result on tomorrow night. I'm absolutely buzzing because I've really missed Arsenal. And we're feeling unwell. It's going to give me a boost with whatever. But yeah, but just another thing on Isak. I would love Isak. I would love Isak at Arsenal, but I'm not. I don't know if we'll spend money on that. And there's been a lot of debate. And if we plump for Gyökeres and he comes, obviously I want him to do well, and I'm right behind him. But it's just like I said, Premier League defenders are not. They're a lot tougher to get past than Portugal. And you can say the same for Sesko. I get that, but I remember watching Sesko. I mean, I went out to the Euros last year, and obviously Sesko didn't score, but there was a game where I think it was Euros. Yeah, I think Slovenia went out and he missed a golden chance to put Slovenia through. I can't remember who it was against. I was home by then, but a lot of my friends and people were saying, "Oh, he can't finish." But I've watched him this season, and his finishing has improved. But again, he may flop. Like you said, we don't know. But whoever we bring in, because we have to bring in a number 9, like you said, we need a number 9. Mikel Merino, I mean, what a job he's done. He's done great for us, but he's makeshift. So whoever we bring in, let's just hope they hit the ground running. Yeah, and and also just one last thing. I hope Saka gets game time, and we ease him in gently, because we need him ready for Madrid. Because the fact that he's back for Madrid, it's given me a lot more. I'm not saying we were going to lose to him, but everyone's writing this off. But I think with Saka in the squad against Madrid, we've got a hell of a chance. We've got a hell of a chance to beat them.
Yeah, you're right. I think our chances in that game increase considerably by having Saka. I mean, he's going to be massive in that game, whether he starts or whether he comes on as a sub. But I do hope that he's going to get 15-20 minutes against Fulham, 20-30 minutes against Everton, and then if everything goes well and he has no reaction and everything else, I do hope he can start against Real. He can play like 60-70 minutes or the full game. I don't know, but yeah, it's massive. It's massive that he's back, and I can't wait. I can't wait to watch tomorrow's game. That's 100% sure. But I'm expecting. I want that moment. I want to see the moment when Saka gets up. He gets ready to get in, get substituted, get in on a pitch. Everyone, it's gonna be massive. It's gonna be insane. I can't wait.
It's gonna give everyone a lift, like you said. The fans. I mean, I can't wait to see him. from what I've been reading and hearing, it will. You're right. It's like when Thierry came back against Leeds and scored as well that night. And
Yeah.
So it's he's our star boy. It's and he's going to make such a difference to us. He really will.
Yeah, his Arsenal DNA. Thank you so much, Craig. We're gonna leave it here. We're hoping so much for a good performance, for an excellent game against Fulham, 3 points, and really happy that Arsenal is back. Thank you so much, Craig, again for joining in, for tuning in. Thank you to everyone for listening, and I wish everybody an excellent start of the week. Come on, you Gunners.